Now, what do you think fruit is for?
All the seeds.
But why? I mean, trick question, because I've already spoke about this with you, but most people think it's something to eat,
Yeah.
and it is a juicy something or other to eat. There's two outcomes for fruit.
Yeah.
What it is this is the seed. It's the seed within a seed. This is how it works, right? So, go on, are we going? Must know. Yeah. Can I tempt you into with an orange? You didn't like it. It stinks bad. But yeah, no, it's a seed within a seed. And how it works is it can work in two ways, which is beneficial for nature on both ways. So if I was to take a nice big out of this with skin and all, you can't do it with shop bought because I think they wax the outside to make them look shiny, and that's not very good. So little and often, but still, it can be quite the enjoyable treat if you eat it with skin. Sometimes I eat it without, and if you eat it with the seeds, and this still works, even though you can gain some benefit nutrients from it, your body will absorb the nutrients, and when you pass this out, if you were out in the wild, you would still get the same result, but it works much more effective if this whole part was buried in the ground. And why? Because it changes whatever medium it lands into. So I think most of them, apart from sand, but I think it would still give it a bloody good go, though, is what it does is it changes the pH of the soil. And that's any fruit, banana, anything. It doesn't matter really, and vegetables as well. So even though banana isn't a fruit, but tomato is the same thing. If you bury the whole tomato, it should change the pH of the soil, which then helps the seeds to begin growing. So I've got some lemon growing outside. And somebody said to me, "Oh, you don't want to take that outside, it won't grow." It didn't even shut down during the winter. I was outstanding that it's still hanging on. So it's over, I don't know now how old that is. It's over a year. So it could be about 18 months. And I couldn't get the lemon to grow from seed until putting the whole thing in. And I squeezed out all of the juice into the... And therefore, it would then tell me that the seeds need a very acidic type of soil. And soil being the absorbent thing that it is. I know what we said in the last video that soil is quite toxic, but yet nature learns to work with it. So if there wasn't this whole... I think it's a very much of a problem. It is for things like oak and different things like that. But fruit trees... much more advanced. Anything with berry that falls and the whole berries fall down repeatedly, it changes the pH of the soil. The leaves, not so much. The dead twigs and branches that come off, not so much. It's all about the fruits that it drops, and that's any fruit tree, cherry tree. You'll change the pH of the soil. Now, humans are not exactly gonna go and test the soil and put it in your mouth, but if there's a cherry tree down, it's the soil is a certain time of year. That's why you can smell it so strong. It's not the tree itself. It's all of that starts to go into the ground below. And this goes on to support the tree, even if it doesn't go on to germinate. So it's like a double whammy. And if I was to eat this with seed and all, then when I travel away from the tree, again, it will change the pH of my stools, let's say, which also go on to change the pH of the soil, and then that makes it more probable that the seed will germinate, if you like, and begin to grow. So when you look at fruit, think of it of a seed within a seed, because that's what it is. So that's pretty interesting, isn't it? So rather than, if I had an orange tree, I wouldn't be putting feces down around the tree. No, I would be putting leftover orange casters around the tree. And something else that's really great with nature, because going on with this is, I found it with strawberries, that when I put offcuts, so you'd have some strawberries, quite a big punnet of them, and for whatever reason, the date on them is nowhere near accurate to when they start to go bad. Some of these places here in Britain, not all, even in the season, most shops are trying to sell you the stuff that is, it's not great, right? As soon as you take it out of the shop, it's rotting.
Yeah.
And it becomes squidgy and not quite nice to eat. So you end up thinking, well, I just wasted, £3 on a small tub of strawberries that are practically, I was going to have them tomorrow.
Yeah, inedible. Yeah.
So they're no longer really. You can eat them, but it's
tasty,
not as pleasant.
Yeah, no.
And if you give these to children, what I'll find is that if you've ever had picky children over fruit and stuff, where they're a bit like, oh, I don't know if I like it, it's because the fruit is old.
Yeah.
And that makes quite an unpleasant taste, and the brain remembers it, and then they're more reluctant to sort of, I don't know if I want to eat that. So, for children especially, it needs to be quite fresh. The more fresher, the better, the more they'll enjoy it, especially if they get to pick it off the plant itself.
Yeah.
And that's why it tastes so different when you grow your own strawberries, is because it's straight off, straight in.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's going to be different to the shop, because the shop has probably cut it, traveled it on an aircraft, or perhaps moved it halfway across the country.
Yeah, exactly.
And with that, it's already, as soon as it's picked, it's already breaking down. So, that's very important to give kids fresh fruit. I mean, these ones aren't particularly old, but they are old in the terms of when these were brought to the country.
Yeah.
Because of the way they start to degrade, and some of them are quite moldy on the inside. Some of the
and some of them have that taste like old taste.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
These, it's not all of them, but it's most of them. And if I peel it here, this particular part here would be quite moldy on the inside, bit of green on the. It looks like it's been injected or something like that. It's very strange, but yeah. So it's very interesting. So if I had a tree that was an orange tree, I think that what we do is, as humans, is we end up causing a lot of things to sort of go pretty bad. So I noticed a tree that was over picked with apples.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Yeah.
So actually there was I don't know, man. I don't know how many there were. There were these Bramley apple trees. And there was quite a few of them, but one in particular was easy to get to.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the person that owned these, he said, have at it. If you want them, have them. But because it was the easiest one to get to, this one was over foraged.
Yeah.
So most of the apples were pulled off of that one. But the others, wow, those ones would end up dropping, and they were past the fence anyway. So they sort of were like, you can have this one, but they didn't really do anything with the others. But what I noticed was, with this all dropping down around the tree, those trees were bigger and the apples were much larger. But somewhere along the line, what we're doing when we have an apple tree sat somewhere, and it works in two ways, by the way, it's very binary in nature. If you don't pick the apples, you also have an issue.
Yeah.
If you do pick the apples, and too many of them, you also have an issue, because yes, that Bramley apple tree is growing in that soil. And if it is 100 years old, it's not. But let's say if it was, and these ones are pretty old anyway, they're getting on for 40, so, and they've been around longer than that. So, I don't know, give or take 80. And with this keep on pick and taking, and then I get somewhere and I'm at home and I might want to make an apple pie crumble or whatever, and I peel off all of that, and then I make the pie nice, and then there's the middle parts and I throw it over there, and then all of this gets thrown into a bin. Now it gets taken to landfill somewhere or in a compost heap, what you're doing is you're moving the nutrients away from the tree. Yeah. And it is sourcing these nutrients. It doesn't just get it for free, you know. Mm-hmm. But what would be more beneficial for the tree is not to replace it with manure, although I guess it might help in some way. No, it would be to take back the core and the peel, but no one's got time for that, and throw that back down near the tree. Mm-hmm. So what's left, the nutrition goes back into the tree. And it just keeps this sort of going. And then there's the apple never falls further than the tree type process unless it's on a hill, blah, blah, blah. And you're less likely to have germination around the tree, but slightly away from the tree, germination is possible. And it's proven this time and time again. Mm-hmm. And then there were those seeds I kept trying for ages to grow, a Bramley apple tree and a pear tree, and it just wasn't working until I discarded a load of whole pears. Wherever. And then they grew. So, it changed the pH of the soil. Yeah. So, and perhaps it can get some of it from the light, some of it from here, and it can keep going and it can keep producing quite a bit. But over foraging also is quite dangerous if you're not putting back the nutrients that it relies on. And therefore, with science, wouldn't it be a great way to test all of this here? And anything that wasn't used in the process or wasn't sold in a shop to be put back around the tree. Therefore, this wonderful nutrients, because it might not germinate the seeds, but this will go back into the tree for next time. So I often find that we often move nutrients, and then it's a shame because some of these trees do degrade after time. And people are like, well, I don't know why it's degrading. And then you try and plant another one beside it and it won't take. Or it does and it's really wilted and small. Well, because of the nutrients that was in the ground is no longer there to support it. So it's a little bit of hit and miss. And then there was another thing that I noticed with nature, which will just be the final point that I'll touch upon, is with having a lot of houseplants, I admire them because of depression. It's my antidepressant. Anyone, if you're feeling really bad with depression, please take my advice. Get some houseplants. When they flower and anything else, it's not going to make the symptoms go away. But if you're thinking in any type of thought process, go and tend to your plant. You'll find that it'll be very happy. It's got a few leaves that need to come off. It perhaps needs a soil check-in, maybe changing, maybe repotting. It doesn't matter, but it distracts you from certain things. And it's not toxic. It's not demanding, and you can go a long way with stuff like that. But anyway, during this process of that, of having lots of plants and different things like that, I noticed something. I tried to grow some that were not underwater. So, I was talking about the St. Bernard lily in the last video. Yeah. Well, I managed to achieve to get these to grow underwater in a fish tank. Can you believe that? And they grow. I didn't think they were gonna do it, but they did. But it was a tricky process. If I took them off, the new shoots that come off of the flowers. I mean, I had so many of them, I didn't know what else to do, and I just wanted to see how would they transition. Can their evolution be maneuvered in such a way that they would resist being in water conditions, which was completely different to what its natural environment was? And the answer is yes, you can. It's often how. When I was taking them off one by one and putting them in, I knew that aquagenics was quite a process, and there was some results in it, and there was also not so many good results in it. But with these ones, I tried to get them to grow in the water. Take it off, put it in. Now they started browning up and they just didn't take. However, it was kind of a little bit by accident, some of this. When I had it above a fish tank, fish tank needed the light, and then there was some light leaks that I did purposely because I built this massive fish tank. I had this plants on top to sort of absorb that light leak there. And beneficial. I love plants, I like fish. So, I got the best of both worlds in one unit. And, it began to grow beyond anything I've ever seen. And it started to create a vine. That's usually what happens. And then it flowers. And then the flowers drop off, and then you get the like baby clones. Or, you know, I say these ones are not clones because it was reproducing in that aspect. Clones come out. These ones are grown from a flower. It gets pollinated. And one of these vines managed to get into the water. And these ones took really well. So with that, I cut they were ready to be cut because they started to create the little white shoots, which are roots on the bottom of it. So I cut, and then I put the whole thing under the water because I was thinking, I wonder if these ones will take because they've started to develop under the water anyway. And then I tracked these down, the long vine, and then there was probably about 7, give or take, different plants. A few didn't go. They started browning up, so I cut those off, but the rest actually started to grow faster than I've ever seen. There were new shoots starting to come out. So yes, St. Bernard lily are part water. And then another thing happened. I wanted to see whether I could get these to then grow back out in the air again. Because somewhere along the line, evolution can't go backwards. And I just can't settle with that, I'm afraid, because lots of things in my life that I've done, just by playing around with stuff, I found that some things are just bullshit. Or perhaps, maybe for humans, in human believe it, placebo effect, I guess. If you believe something that you're told, then it must be true, right? Then that is a placebo, but that's not really a placebo. That is, I don't know. And then in the video yesterday, where he's talking about the mind and different things like that, again, you don't need a tablet to take a placebo. Right? You don't need to be taking any pill. You just need to believe something. You believe in psychology, let's say, and psychological warfare. And if you believe in that, then if it happens, it's going to affect you. But if you don't believe in it, again, it might not affect you. So, again, I didn't know either way. I just wanted to see. And all I got to waste is my time. Well, these ones that took in the water, and what was even more interesting is the fish didn't eat them. Okay, so I was starting to get some plants in there that stayed in there when the rest had all been munched down. This then went on to one of the other videos where I was down in Thetford pulling out the... Okay. These began to shoot. Again, from I don't know how old they were. Not really sure. I've got some pictures somewhere. I should really put these up, and I'll show you the way they take. They look very different, and they seem to capture bubbles on them. So perhaps there's still an air type process going on. But when they began to shoot, I led them out of the tank, and then these began to when they flowered, went out. Some of them flowered in the water as well, which I was shocked. I didn't know how they were going to pollinate. They didn't go on to make shoots, but again, if I'd have left them in there long enough, would they have adapted? Perhaps. So these ones that then came out responded just as well, but the thing is when they went back into the water, they took it. Whereas I grabbed some other ones from like I say, this other main plant that would produce them in the first place had created lots of vines, and these ones then went into the water, and then they began to grow. So I put those into the water, and then these ones then got to a certain age. They dropped off of that vine, if you like, and that began to rot away as it naturally does. And then they take on their own roots into the... Man, they really grew into the medium. Oh man, that was something. The roots were impressive, because they're like tubes. And this one then began to shoot. Particular one began to shoot from there. And I encouraged this one up and out, and this one was in the air, and then this one began to get big. So I put this one into the water, and any other one that was on the vine as well. And these ones took straight away in the water. They didn't. And then I took another one from the actual plant itself that first gave these ones, and now this one is going on to give others. Like I say, plants advance. Plants move, but they do it in a very strange way. Plants move via cloning. So, and you'll notice that plants will do it in a certain direction. They're directional. They won't be doing it this way, but they will be following this path. But pay attention, they'll tell you which way the sun's going. On a windowsill, it's quite hard for them to do it, but again, outside, you'll notice something, that they're advancing a certain direction. Follow the light. And when I took the ones off the vine on the main plant they gave them, I put these in the water. Again, they would brown off. They'd all start browning off. Look like an apple when you first peel it and leave it for a bit. They start to turn brown. Same process. So these ones were capable of then being taken out of the water, and they were also able to be submerged. And then therefore there's a depth there as well. So they were also able to take pressure, which they should, because there's pressure changes in the atmosphere. So you would look at that as evolution going backwards, but in the small scale. And again, it wasn't really much tested in any sort of scientific environment, let's say. So whatever that is, you fill your boots with it. But I wonder if I'd have carried on doing that, what would have happened? What would happen to those flowers in there? Would they have learned a different way of being pollinated in such way? Would they have adapted? I never continued it. After a certain amount of time, I took them out and then put them into soil, if you want to say that. It was a different medium anyway. I don't think that was soil. I think that was bits of crushed coconut and other stuff. But anyway, so I tried all different types of soils and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's where that evolution can't go backwards and forwards. And then I had another plant that was hermaphrodite. Interesting old thing that was. And I shut this one off. I enclosed it. And, because I heard that, no hermaphrodites can self-sex, self-seed, or do anything, And then most people destroy these plants because of that reason. Like, I didn't. And I left them to go full, have at it. But there was nothing else that was able to interfere with this. Plus, with the time of year, it was quite the thing for me. But to me, this hermaphrodite was able to sex itself, create seeds. It was male and female. And these seeds, when I took them, after, a long amount of time. And another thing that was really interesting with this plant was how hardy it was, how it adapted. So after it finished seeding, usually the plant dies. This one didn't. So I could take these off as it was, and it began to continuously keep going. It kept growing. It reshoot in the areas. And it was almost like being pruned so much so. Again, was interesting. And if you remember that last one of these particular plants, I kept having at it. And then I thought it was dead, because, the amount I kept going at it, I was just being really brutal with it. And it then began to shoot from the sides, these new shoots, which then one plant turned into 6, which was, I was going to throw that thing away, like thinking, it's done. Oh, I don't know, I'm just going to keep on going. I kept watering it, and man, just where the old leaves were, it then began to shoot. And then these were the size of one plant. And I was just like, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. So it was pretty hardy. But anyway, with these seeds, after drying them out and everything else, well, I put them in. I thought, well, apparently these won't grow because, they're from Hermia and different things like that. What do you reckon? Yeah, man, every single one popped. It was quite the thing, because, I really didn't think that they would, because you've got this belief, because this placebo effect, I didn't really study. I haven't studied anything, I'm not going to lie. I've just heard little bits of what people have said about what they've read, and then I can sort of be like, and then they're telling me that this won't work because of this reason, so if you find any of those, pull them out, do this, you need to sort the hat, and they're quite weak plants. What I found was the opposite. They're incredibly strong. They're incredibly resilient. They can cope with longer amounts of time in darkness, which is incredible. And I mean true darkness, not, when we look out at the sky at night, everyone's like, oh, it's dark. Actually, it's not. It's not. That's a myth, right? your belief that when you look up at the sky at night is dark is not true. What you should be saying, with the correct way to say it, is it's darker, but it's not dark. And the only way I could really prove this is if I could cover the sun for 3 days. Cover the whole sun so it doesn't touch the planet at all. There will be two things that you'll notice. One is how ink black everything is. You won't be able to see literally nothing. And when it would be night on both sides of the planet, but still, the stars, and this is again, what is true? Your perception or the event that's just happened? Which is it that is really true? You seeing that, and what is that you're seeing? Well, the stars would become brighter, would immediately appear brighter to you. It's really strange, isn't it? It's hard to understand that. And that's why it's not truly dark. And then it truly wouldn't be dark either, because you'd still be getting the light from the stars. Unless they're reflecting the sun's light, which is, I don't know. Yeah, have a rabbit hole and start a new conspiracy somewhere, you know. The stars are pieces of glassy glitter, and they're reflecting the sunlight. No, they're not. But if I could, much like a bird, where you put a sheet over the bird cage. Anyone ever do that? Where they put a towel over the... I don't even know why people do that. Probably make them be quiet. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Strange. But yeah, if I could do that with the sun, and it could be done for, I don't know, 3 days. Well, immediately you would notice is, gosh, how dark is this? I can barely see anything. Your eyes are adjusting because, yes, although the sun has gone down, it is still hitting the atmosphere, and atmosphere scatters light by design. So you are still seeing light, although you're not registering it because you're born in the fish bowl. Because you're in that, you'd have to do a level of thinking that is outside of what your normal existence is. You have to think outside the fishbowl.
Yeah.
But the first thing you would notice is, gosh, how dark this is. This is pretty damn dark. Wait a minute, these stars, wow. They would take center stage, and they would appear much, much brighter. Yeah. Much more brighter. And as a result of that, you would see more clarity in the stars. You would see stars that you can't see right now. Yeah. So even though you're looking out and you think, yeah, I can see these main stars, as soon as I covered the sun, you would see all of the others that were much more fainter, and these ones would appear much more brighter to you. But which is true? Are they that brightness? Is it an illusion because of your eyes are adjusting to this, a bit more sensitive? Everything appears more darker now. And again, the atmosphere would still be scattering this light, although how very faint it is, but then you would realize how bright the stars actually are. So therefore they are casting light on your planet. And it's quite a thing then, isn't it? It's quite... The only reason why they don't appear like that now is because the sun is backlit to the atmosphere, and therefore it's scattering light, although not enough for you to realize it, because you've told yourself that it's dark. It's dark. It's dark. I think it's similar to being inside a cave, the depth of a cage, how inky black it is, and how light just doesn't seem to want to go anywhere in that. But yeah, if you had a torch when the sun has gone down and no cloud, and even if there is cloud, it doesn't matter. It's still going to scatter. It's still going to illuminate, but it's going to slightly illuminate so subtly. And because you've been in this cycle over and over again, it appears like there's no light. But your eyes are adjusting. What are they adjusting to? Well, they're adjusting to these. There is light, even in a darkest room. You're still seeing light traces even in the darkest room. Even in a cave, depths of a cave, that is still not truly dark. It's mind-boggling, but your eyes are still picking up, especially if it's got an entrance. Seal the entrance, then you'll understand what darkness is, and then see how long it takes for your eyes to adjust in that, if they even do. That's the next thing. Most people that have been in depths of a cave somewhere usually become blind. And then where do you draw the line between Charles Bonnet syndrome, which is the light within, and again, it's just a fancy term for it. You see, so then can it ever truly be dark from a human perspective? And again, because you're inside this vessel, you are seeing a light, although you might not actually realize that you're seeing a light, whether your eyes are open or closed. For me personally, it's much more. It's much more. I imagine it's what people experience when they have too much DMT, perhaps. Yeah. So again, where do you draw the line between darkness and then, therefore, for humans, humans can never truly be dark? As much as they want to claim that they are dark vessels and dark entities and dark this and rah-de-rah, and what's associated with this dark evilness and this, that, and the other and everything. Oh my days, where did you learn this stuff from? It's just almost like you see one way and then think, fuck that way, I'm going to do the opposite to that way because that way is too natural. We don't do natural here. Have you seen the E numbers? Look, nature, you're going to give me some aspirin. No, look, we got some chemicals over here. Come take this. Okay, no offense, and yeah, it has its purpose, perhaps. I doubt it, but I think this one will probably be more beneficial. Perhaps it doesn't because it's got other things in it and this, that. Oh, where'd you draw the line? Where'd you draw the line? And then you'll be like, you know, this darkness that people want to go and worship and want to go and be all satanic. Can you help me understand how a light being can ever truly be dark? Again, placebo effect.
Yeah, that's just to be interesting to others, because people didn't go outside after sunset because it was darker, let's say, and it was hard to see, and it was dangerous because someone could do something to them because they couldn't see that very well.
Well, it's very, very manipulative.
Yeah, so it's for to pretend to be more interesting or something like that, I think.
So when we look at this, it's in layers, right? And if this is the easiest way I can explain it. But again, because you're inside your vessel, you don't realize it, but you will. You will. And it's going to be the biggest shock drop, I think, that you'll ever experience. The truest darkness will only be experienced if you are not worthy. You see, there's the truth, and then there's non-existent. That is, lights out completely. So when we say that we are living within dark and light, that is not what is meant. You need a level of darkness to see the light. But yet, no matter how dark it gets, no one sees the light, and then they interpret the darkness as bad times. Ooh, the darkness. Ooh. Right? It's almost comical, and also it's sort of a bit... How do you not see this? Well, it's because you're in the vessel and you've blinded yourself and you've created the whole placebo effect, and then you've created mass hysteria, and then belief is pushing on and pushing on and pushing on and pushing on. We are the darkness. Really? Really? So we see light, starlight, sunlight. Then you see light from your stars. There is an atmosphere that's scatting. You never actually see true darkness. Unless you want to go and enter into a black hole, and that's probably where you want to go and worship and different things. That is non-existent. That is gone. Over. Finished. You won't remember it. You won't exist in it.
And after.
There is no after. There is no remixing.
Yeah, exactly.
There is nothing that's going to come from
There's
that.
No,
that's it. Finished.
There's no after. Yeah.
So you then have the inner light.
Yeah.
But if you spend all of your time looking at the darkness around, you're never going to see it. Again, because you're inside it. It is you.
Yeah.
And then you would look at death as awareness shifting. The awareness will start to shift. Your perspective will shift. Although you're not there yet. But again, if you believe in something dark, then you're going to have a field day when you cross. You're going to feel like you just, right? Because I often look at this as well, like what is good, collected, and all of that. I mean, it's weird. And then what is this side is the weird for me. is that sort of devil and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But if I imagine somebody who is into devil worship or different stuff like that, then your version, that is good. Oh, so confusing. So could you imagine if they ever met a collective divine light after this? They're going to feel like they just met the devil. Do you see how they can even... Right, so if you... The belief is a funny thing, right? And it's hard to explain it if you can't get into a perspective. It's like something like meeting this mythological darkness, right? That to them would be a very bad day, yeah? Existence. Experience, transition. That would be like, oh, fucking hell, man. Oh, how did I get here? Right? That would be bad, right? But someone that believes in that now and then transitions into something that is this, then do they see the reverse of each other? So devil worship would view God as evil and bad and different things like that. I don't know how you get into this belief system. I don't know how you create that. Years of forcing yourself to, hey, how about it? Be however you want to be. But I just wonder where the I mean, really. Can you imagine that? Since everyone's in this fish tank, and you're like sort of feeding these human fish, and you're watching them, and you're like, what the fuck are they saying? Are they seeing something that we just don't understand yet? You know, would you allow anything bad to happen in your life deliberately?
Deliberately?
Yeah, I'm going to say deliberately. Would you like anything bad to happen deliberately in your life?
No.
So you would more or less not want anything like that to happen.
No.
Okay, so anyone that then believed this type of stuff really love it when shit gets really bad for them, or do they love it when shit gets bad for somebody else?
Somebody else.
Okie dokie. Now we're on some page here. Do you see how that is not true darkness then? That is an illusion. But something so light can wish for something so bad. So then they might come together, these individuals, and they might start really believing that they are the darkness while wishing, using their light to commit bad acts, not on themselves, because they're not in that, they are above that, or what? Why would that not affect them then? Why would that darkness not affect them? I mean, it's like people believing in God going around wishing it on everybody else, but not themselves. Do you understand that in a way, that it would be like everyone who's religious wouldn't believe in the religion themselves, but wish all good things on people around them?
That would be very strange.
Now reverse it. These people will come together and wish the most horriblest things whilst doing these horriblest things, but never to themselves. Well, why not? This is something that you love. This is something that you come to... Oh my days. It is... So you would unleash something that is very dark on other people.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do, isn't it?
But not themselves. And that makes you a real badass motherfucker, does it? And if there was true darkness, it would not give you anything good. It's not going to give you any high power. In fact, it's going to give you nothing but bad, evilness, dark. But it doesn't. Why is that? Because you're too busy willing it onto somebody else, but you won't walk the path yourself. So therefore, when I look into religion, if you believe that sort of thing, and whatever, it's just very impossible. But again, you're in a soup bowl, right? So you're in a soup bowl that you believe that when it gets dark, it's darkness, which is not. It's still very light. Unless you extinguished all of the stars, covered them all, and then you covered the sun. And then you would go blind.
Yeah.
And you would still see light. I mean, you just can't get away from the stuff, can you? No matter how bad you believe you are, because you're wishing it on other people. But that will never happen to you because you are above. You are right there. That means that Satan won't have anything bad.
Don't ask me.
So God is all goodly, but yet your Satan devil type individual is so fucking dark that he doesn't have anything dark, or she have anything dark on themselves. But because you all get together and wish this badness on another person in your group. Well, I mean, it's interesting because it's just definitely where no thanks, you know, no thanks, to be honest. Because I've heard of some of these groups that will just do some horrific things to other people, but never themselves.
Yeah.
Well, why not? Because I'm the highest of the dark, apparently. You're educated. You are an intelligent motherfucker, right? You are so intelligent that they will only offer you nothing but good. What the fuck? Unless I offer up this individual. I'm confused. I am very much going to laugh that one out of the collected, let's say. That is fucking funny. That's a joke. So, I better be careful, right? No, I don't. Why? No matter how much of your scheming, and you're not going to take this from me because it don't exist. I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. This side of it, it exists. You'll go square with it one way or another. There's so much in this that is so believed.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything that you could ever think about.
Mm-hmm.
But all of this is not going to allow for some of this. Square with that. So, yeah, but you're not going to go and meet another something else because this is so intelligent, so bright that it will not allow that. How can you have one without the other? Quite simple. So yeah, just let me put you back into your fishbowl for a second. Back into your vessel while you're inside the fishbowl. And then does this... I don't even know how we got onto this subject from here, but it's just something I think about, like...
Yeah, from the plant in the darkness.
Yes.
Yeah.
But nothing is truly dark.
Yeah.
This knows it.
Yeah.
This knows it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I want nothing but good for everybody. And everything. There you are. Not this. What is this? I want good for you, but why are you wishing all of this ill shit on everyone? But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling. So, in believing in something dark, they're believing in something good. You got to think about that for a second, because that darkness won't do it to them.
Yeah.
So, in essence, you're already answering the very thing I'm saying.
Yeah, they sacrifice or do something sacrificial and
sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, and
if you believe in it that much, sacrifice yourself. because you believe in it so much that, you know, and then it's who can do the most worst thing to themselves, right?
Yeah.
But you won't do that.
No.
You're already proving in the light in a very tarnished sort of way. So I just give you something to chew on there. Because they believe that there's nothing but good for them if they sacrifice something, which is apparently I'm a bad motherfucker. Look at me sacrifice this and this and this and this. And this gives me the ability to be light in a dark sort of way, right? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand that part.
The reason why I got all of this wealth and different stuff like that is because I'm so dark. Oh, I am shitting myself with envy. I mean, it's, oh man, when you actually think about it, man, it's very, it don't exist. You see darkness in your eyes, and I do. Yeah. Look at me again. I see it in your eyes.
No, they just have dirty hands. They are dirty people. Who do this something bad to other people are dirty people. That's all they are.
Yeah, because they're just getting one with, and that's why they're freed from any horribleness and anything else, because
they are in alliance with darkness or something like that.
Because the darkness wouldn't want anything dark for its own vessels, even though it's so dark and it's so...
Oh,
my days. That's because we all gathered here and we all will this on this person here. And then therefore, you know... That's why these doors open. That's why this happens to us. That's why we get everything we want, because we worship darkness. And the darkness doesn't want us to go through anything dark. Well, then it ain't truly dark then, is it? Sure as hell, the dark of darkness would have gone through the most darkest stuff you can imagine. And they'll look at you and be like, man, you lot are fucking mincy. You didn't go through anything as dark as I did. What? Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a hierarchy in who can go through the most darkest shit. But not projected onto somebody else. More like what you go through yourself. You'd be making the road fucking tough for yourselves, right? You see that? I am worthy of you. Look how much darkness I went through. Yeah, but it ain't as dark as me. Oh my days, we're just still having some fun here. Now back into the fishbowl. Come on. Swim, swim. Just gotta feed you some knowledge here. What's that evaporating? Your illusion of darkness is gone, isn't it? So again, if you believe in that, I'm sure you'll roll into some convincing, but you would be very good test subjects as hypnosis. Would you like to come and do some study, you know? I'll have you up on stage talking about the light. And then we'll 3, 2, 1 back in the room. What did I say? Was I bad? Did I meet Satan? No, actually. You had an enlightening experience. No, I didn't. You did. You fucking did. Oh, what the hell's this lack of integrity anyway? So, moving swiftly on. But to say that one's not real, then it means that this one's not real. I love illusions. I love illusions. This was a wonderful thing. But yeah, so, so the fruit is forged in the darkness. Darkness is a very, very human-made thing. And it's a belief. So if you believe in that type of psychological warfare crap, then expect to probably believe it like a placebo. The best placebo is not a tablet you take, it's a belief into something psychological. And on the other hand, if you believe in this type of situation, well, again, this can be manipulated to a means to an end. So try and walk in the middle. And perhaps look at human behavior. And what is the main thing of human behavior? The definition should be control. But again, it's a belief. Disbelieve it, believe it. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter wherever you fit. I like it this way because then I think it really reveals what type of vessel you are. And then the test. Could you imagine if there was any light that comes down that is aware of the light itself, and then you have all of these humans like, yeah, here's the deal. Right, there's this is this is that, this is the... Okay, go on, I'm listening. Go on, yeah, okay. Well, he's got a man or a woman? It's a hermaphrodite, actually. If we're talking life form, and if we're talking the oldest one, the ones that first got there, then we'll say hermaphrodite. So what's that one where the mate is standing there all naked? The man,
That's anatomy.
Yeah, the anatomy one, and then you've got the female version of that. Where's the hermaphrodite one? I mean, the Egyptians were close, right? When they were like, oh, twins. Is there any that have drawn a hermaphrodite and have worshipped? Because you wouldn't be far wrong.
You never know. Not everything was saved from Leonardo da Vinci.
I mean, this is how you can tell. Close. Very fucking close. But just not quite. Man, you got some weird belief. I know. I really do, don't I? But, you know, different things like that. So, yeah, there you are. So, maybe it works differently for humans. So, for my interpretation of that, anything that is closest to the... You say creator, I say collective. It's up to you what you believe. Disbelieve all of this. Go in and have a look with yourself inwards. My personal belief, then, in that aspect, if you want to know, is a hermaphrodite is the most closest. And yet, have you not noticed how it's so shut out of everything? Whether it's a plant, animal, or anything else for that matter.
Yeah.
Human.
Yeah. Who knows what is in some archives somewhere?
Oh, you reckon it's in some archives, do you?
Yeah, some hidden places.
Now, tell me, when you look at Jesus, do you see? Is it a woman or a man? What is that picture that looks like? Mona Lisa. No, is it that one? Or is it male or is it female?
Or the Last Supper, where there is one of the disciples, and they say it's Mary. No, it's one of the disciples, and they all look like.
Wouldn't it be a really interesting story if Jesus actually died for somebody else to hide the secret?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, now that would be impressive, wouldn't it? What a story. What a noble individual. And the whole thing, it's all right. I'll die for your sins. I will die for your secrecy. I will die to protect you. The true one of all true people. He strikes me as that. Come on, tell us the fucking secret. Why else was he tortured? He didn't break. I want to stay up here all fucking day. Come on, Tell us who it is. Yeah, that strikes me as Jesus. Wouldn't it strike you as he seems to come across as this way? If you believe such a thing, it could just be a story, right?
Mm.
Well, he wouldn't spill the beans.
No.
He didn't break.
No.
And while people are believing it's him, who did he protect?
Mm.
I mean, that would make sense as to why no one did anything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah.
And then some have murmured this throughout history with drawing little paintings, right? Symbology.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give you something to chew on if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I'm wondering if the Egyptian temple, if that is boy and girl and the wrapping at the feet, meaning to become one. As opposed to, oh, it's twins. Just saying, just having it out there. But in a man's world, and it's not a man's world, it's been created that way.
Yeah.
No? Yes? Could be? Maybe? Well, which way would you swing with this one?
Swing what?
This.
But what this? I'm not sure what this you mean right now.
If we go back in time,
Yeah.
quite far back,
Mm.
what would be more successful? Hermaphrodites? Or man and woman?
Hermaphrodites could work as men or women or on their own. So yeah.
Okay, so how would you be able to move a population forwards much more faster? Separate or hermaphrodites?
Hermaphrodite.
Bring two hermaphrodites together.
Yeah.
Which one has more greater chance?
I already told you. Hermaphrodites.
Take a look at the world right now. If this was the first off, men are more better than women.
Yeah.
Do you see the issue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one kind would be better.
Oh, absolutely. Apparently so.
Yeah.
Now I'll ask you a question, right? If you could choose to be either, could you even make your mind up between the two? If it was a choice, right? If it was a choice. Take that for a second. Like, before you come into this vessel, you were given a choice. Which one would you want to be? Well, I don't know. They've both got good points and bad points about them.
Yeah.
I would like to be both, please. Female. Fem male. And then this was female first, male, female. And we hear all these songs saying two become one. What about one become two? And then go back further in history. And what is the most, what would you look at as bacteria?
Yeah, just one, isn't it?
Just one?
Doesn't have gender. And how quickly it can replicate.
How quickly it can replicate. Exactly, hammer, boom, on the nail. And then, could you support young?
Yeah.
And then does that mean that male could support young? Think about it. If you were both, could you produce milk?
Yeah.
Is that guarantee survival?
Yeah.
Why do men have nipples for? Well, let me see. Scientists, please tell them that it's because they needed it in the womb, that everyone was born female in the womb to start with and then turned into a male due to temperature and heating and cooling and pressure.
Oh, don't tell that to certain males. They will not like it.
It's a man's world, are you sure?
No, it's not.
So again, and lots of things hidden into pictures, paintings, and different things like that. Interesting, isn't it? A seed within a seed.
Yeah.
Hermy plants do not produce seeds, and if they do, they don't grow. So why do they all grow hermy?
Yeah. Yeah. Why is it like that then?
And let me tell you, when all of these pop,
Mm-hmm.
can you think how quickly that can spread?
Yeah.
Other plants now are struggling. They have to clone themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how desperate things seem to be becoming. Look at trees. Wilting, dying away. No seedlings. They haven't learned cloning. These other ones, learning cloning.
Yeah.
But yet, hermy plants, fucking hell, man, they spread. But it makes a weaker G. No. Evolution can't go back or forth. You see, I think I trust nature. Nature has no need to lie. It just does. Nature doesn't have an ego to worry about. It doesn't understand embarrassment. It doesn't need to pay anyone anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't care what you think. It can't be manipulated, nor controlled, really, in that aspect. Well, kind of shades of grey, but by and large.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a specimen. So, you want something to chew on?
Yeah.
Let's leave this one here, but again, it's up to you what you believe. Disregard anything I said. Take it in, look at it, think about it, go within, chew on it. You won't hear this from any textbook, I'm sure, and I probably will not have this video make many friends from it, but your belief system is weird. Are we looking into a mirror here, or it seems to be a double-sided mirror then? Which one holds more chance of survival? Which one cradles life more? Than in a man-articulated world, if you want to say that, created, believed, understood in doctrine are going to favor more with a he god rather than a she-male.
Okay.
Then this further puts in the indoctrine of man's world, man's world, man's world. Do you see how this... Well, if we were to do the numbers, how many female on the planet compared to men? I think females outnumber men.
But by how much, I don't know.
Well, I think it's going to be quite a lot, especially with the current wars that are going on. And throughout history.
Yeah.
And do you see the problem that it can cause extinction this way if it keeps going? This will eventually, inevitably, lead to extinction. Think about it. Keep going like this. Where is it going to end up? Where does it stop? Oh dear. But men are more common. Yeah, they fucking need to be, don't they? And then do women really? I mean, not all, but most of them are less likely to go to battle. Could you imagine if all the leaders around the world turned into females? Untouched, undoctrinated, average female. Would there be many battles? That's the question. It's largely dominated by male. I'm not saying that it's not going to be. And then if someone might quote me as, what about Bloody Mary though? Yeah, Bloody Mary was indoctrinated. She had advisors.
Yeah.
Who were these advisors by any chance? Who's really leading who here? The blind lead the blind? And then, if this was a true belief system, and I say was, and I'll use the phrase loosely, how much of the ego would just demolish? I'm better. No, I'm better. I'm better. I'm better. Well, actually, technically, you're both equal. You come from equal parts.
It's boring to hear that all the time. And it doesn't help the world.
Then if you go back far enough, has this is all an accident, or were there some people that were like, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then they didn't tell even their own children the truth, because it was far easier if they just kept it a secret. And then we reach fast forward till now, and everybody is indoctrinated and no one knows the fucking truth because they died with those truths. So that they no longer become secrets. They become the forgotten knowledge.
Yeah.
So, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know it.
Sounds more believable. And then everybody is in this blind leading blind situation where no one knows their arsehole from their elbow. These people are so far up their ass. This person is then up that person's ass. And it's like, what? Where do you start? Where do you end?
Yeah.
It's like another sea creature I know. Wonder if you can guess what it is. I think it's a type of starfish. Yep, I think. Usually I go on about the decorated crab. But in this one, I'm going to look at this as the bisexual wheel. Is it called? I think. I don't know. Where's that coming from? That's coming from somewhere. Oh, you might have learned something new today then. There's another sea creature. I don't know why I compare everyone with sea creatures and stuff, but there you are. But yeah, there'll be something else that you can look up. Just type that phrase in and I'm sure it will bring up something. It's quite interesting. And that is my analogy of this situation.
Okay.
Come on, everyone's throwing so much shit you don't know which end it's coming from, right? In this perpetual motion of... And then we're all in this together. We most certainly are.
Yeah, in your bullshit we are all together.
So yeah, there you are. I'm going to leave it at that because it's a sea creature and that's kind of left you in a little bit of a chuckle mode. So there we are.
Sea creature.